Alright, let me tell you about the weirdest, and honestly, the best co-pilot I've ever had. Her name is Ziri. She's an interstellar cartographer, which is a fancy way of saying she maps out unexplored parts of the galaxy. Sounds cool, right? But the real star of the show isn't Ziri. It's her little sidekick, Kli'lek. Imagine a creature that's a mix between a fluffy corgi and a six-legged chameleon. Kli'lek is about knee-high, covered in soft, iridescent scales that shimmer from blue to green and has these massive, soulful black eyes that just scream, "Give me snacks." He communicates through a series of chirps, purrs, and the occasional frustrated squeak. Ziri found him on a jungle moon orbiting a gas giant, shivering and alone. She couldn't just leave him there, so he became her unofficial and very fluffy first mate. Now Kli'lek is a pretty easygoing guy. He's happy as long as he has a warm spot to nap and a window to watch the nebulae drift by. But he has one all-consuming passion. One thing that turns this docile, purring furball into a creature of intense, single-minded focus. And that thing is butter. Yes, butter. The creamy, yellow dairy product. Ziri has no idea how he even discovered it. The first time it happened, she was making some toast in the ship's galley. She turned her back for 2 seconds, and when she looked again, the entire stick of butter was gone. All she saw was Kli'lek in the corner, licking his lips with an expression of pure, unadulterated bliss, his scales glowing a soft, buttery yellow. From that day on, it was game over. Kli'lek became a butterfiend. He learned to open the refrigeration unit. He figured out how to bypass the locks on the pantry. Ziri would find tiny, six-fingered paw prints in spilled flour, leading directly to the butter dish. He'd try to charm her with his biggest, saddest eyes, purring so loudly the whole cockpit would vibrate, just for a tiny sliver of that golden goodness. One time they were negotiating a trade deal for starship fuel on a desert planet. The deal was going south. The traders were gruff, suspicious, and not budging on their price. Ziri was about to give up. Suddenly, Kli'lek, who was supposed to be waiting on the ship, waddles into the tense negotiation room. He climbs onto the table, looks the lead trader dead in the eye, and lets out a series of demanding, high-pitched chirps. The trader just stares at him, confused. Then Kli'lek pulls out his secret weapon. From a pouch Ziri didn't even know he had, he procures a small, perfectly preserved Earth-made butter cup, the kind you get at diners. He nudges it across the table toward the lead trader. The burly alien pokes it, sniffs it, and then hesitantly tastes it. His eyes go wide. A smile spreads across his rocky face. He starts laughing, a deep, rumbling sound. He looks at Kli'lek, then at Ziri, and says, "All right, you've got a deal. But this little guy's butter, I want the recipe." Ziri couldn't believe it. Kli'lek had just saved the mission with a stolen packet of butter. She started calling it butter diplomacy. It became their secret weapon. Need to smooth over a rough diplomatic encounter? Kli'lek and a stick of salted butter. Need to distract a grumpy customs official? Kli'lek with a warm buttered roll. It worked every single time. He wasn't just a pet or a co-pilot. He was her best friend, her lucky charm, and her personal six-legged butter diplomat. Ziri would chart the stars, and Kli'lek, well, he'd make sure they always had enough butter to grease the wheels of intergalactic relations. And you know what? Ziri wouldn't have it any other way. It just goes to show you, sometimes the strongest bonds in the universe are forged over the simplest things. For them, it just happened to be butter. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this little space story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more Tales from the Galaxy. See you next time.